Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second in a series of webinars by OEG. The first webinar was delivered by Chris Cummins of the subject of Met Office Operational Oceanology. Now, if you missed that, get in contact and we'll send you a link. This one is about transitioning military talent into the wind energy sector. So, my name's Gary Paterson. I'm a 22-year Army veteran and I served with the REME, the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineer, as a vehicle mechanic. I left in 2010 as a Warrant Officer Class 2 and in the role as Company Sergeant Major. So through a contact in the military and a good friend of mine, he got me into training and delivering renewables training such as GWO. I then progressed through my current role up to Head of Training for OEG. Now, this webinar is to give you some advice, information and guidance about transitioning into the wind sector and hopefully to give potential employees the knowledge and the key skills that military personnel possess and bring. Now, the main problem from my point of view is potentially the lack of knowledge that we have within our resettlement centres. Now, it's not their fault, to be fair. You know, there's not that much knowledge out there about the different roles within the wind sector. Now, what this leads to, and I see it many times, is everybody wants to be one of two roles, and it is a wind turbine technician or service technician, and the other one is a wind turbine blade repair technician. Now, there are hundreds of different roles within the wind sector, which I'm hoping as we go through these slides, you'll get to see these different sort of roles that we can do. Now, any questions you've got will be answered at the end of the PowerPoint presentation, time permitting. If not, if I don't get to answer them, then what I'll do is I'll personally email you a reply. So let's move forward. So let's have a look. So the session is designated for transitioning military personnel and veterans, should we say, and potential careers advisors and also, like I said, employees looking to understand how highly developed skill sets within the armed forces align with opportunities in the wind sector, both onshore and offshore. So it's not just offshore that everybody speaks about. So we'll cover why the wind sector, the core transferable skills military personnel bring, how do those map directly into wind industry roles, pathways into the sector, and funding available as well. So the wind energy sector is, in my personal view, probably the fastest growing sector globally. And as governments and corporations are pursuing this net zero targets, and that increases demand for new renewable sources like wind. Quick bit of knowledge, there's probably 11 to 12,000 turbines of all power outputs in the UK. There's 375,000 turbines globally of all different power outputs. And one single rotation of 11 megawatt offshore wind turbine is enough energy to power 2 average UK homes for the entire day. So let's look at where we're at now with regards to figures and then where we need to be in 2030. So I've done 2025 and I've done blade repair technician because, again, blade and service tech is what everybody sort of knows. So blade repair technician in 2025, we have 68,120. And you can see it goes up and up until nearly doubles to when we get to 2030, where we need 110,300 to maintain these blades. Next up, we've got service support and regular inspections. So we've got 86,520. And now we will need, again, nearly doubling, 152,560 service technicians. So a massive increase. So transferable core and soft skills that military bring to the workplace and the wind environment. So we've got leadership and team management. So we do military personnel are trained to lead under pressure, as we know. manage diverse teams of all different sizes and deliver outcomes in dynamic environments. Again, potential roles, but I'll go into more detail later on, would be, say, site supervisor, operations manager, project coordinators, or even installation leads as well. So we've got our safety culture and risk management. We have that. It's a strong mindset. You know, what we want now, it's massive in the wind industry, is safety is a mindset. We want people to go to work and fit and healthy and then come home just as fit and healthy after a full day's shift. We have technical and engineering competencies throughout the Army, the Navy, and the Royal Air Force. Different roles there: technician, electrical mechanical engineers, installation, grid and transmission specialist as well. And then we've got planning and logistics. Military operations require precise planning. All military operations, resource allocation and execution. So we're good at that. We're definitely good at all that. Planning, logistics, precise planning, all of that. We take everything into account to make sure it's on the ball straight away. So potential roles: supply chain coordinators, logistic managers, installation planning roles as well. And then last, we've got adaptability and resilience. We're accustomed to austere environments. You've been on deployment. Yeah, definitely. We're away for long rotations, you know, and we're in some really, really bad environments. What I mean by that is sort of weather conditions as well. Norway, for example. Yeah. So the best way I've done it, I thought to do it, was to break it down into 9 stages of an offshore wind farm development. So from start to finish, from, you know, customers saying, I want a wind turbine, I want to plant it in that seabed over there, right up to service and maintenance, and eventually there'll be a decommissioning 25, 30 years down the line. So as we go through it, each slide has got a stage on it. It's got key skills at the bottom and then notes. So the note at the bottom really is about any potential employers that can see what key skills the military personnel would bring to this specific role. So straight away, stage 1, we got site acquisition and development rights, securing the seabed lease, yeah, the grid access and legal rights of that piece of that seabed as well. So key roles, I'll just go through the dark blue bits all the way through, yeah, rather than go through highlighting all the light blue bits that's in there. So project development manager, we've got land and seabed acquisition specialist, legal counsel, commercial manager, stakeholder government relation manager, and then we've got geographical information systems. And again, key skills: reconnaissance, planning, stakeholder coordination, leadership, and team coordination again. So that's stage 1. That's acquiring the site. Now we've got scope and early design. So again, high level feasibility and project definition. We've got project manager again. We've got an offshore wind engineer for the concept design. We've got environmental consultant, marine spatial planner. So whereabouts on that seabed is it going to go? Where the foundation is going to sit? We've got grid connections. So we've got grid connections to the national grid, to the substation. And then we've got cost estimator and financial analysis. Now, very, very roughly, a wind turbine cost about £1 million per megawatt of power output. That's kind of what we work at, that it costs. So nowadays, the biggest turbine initially in production is the 236, which is 15 megawatt. So we're talking about £15 million just for the turbine alone. So key skills within this would be systems engineering, technical judgment, leadership, and team coordination again. Next one, we got public consultation. So we need to let the public know, especially onshore, that there's a wind farm being developed and will be built within their location. Not a lot of people, you know, well, some people don't like them, should we say. Key roles within this could be a stakeholder engagement manager. We have communications and public relations specialist, community liaison officer, social impact specialist, consultation coordinator, legal regulatory advisor, and again, key skills. So relationships building in complex environments, strategic communication, messaging, and structured coordination and governance. All key skills that we possess as military personnel. Next, a little bit smaller, apologise for that, although there's quite a bit in this. So we've got surveying and environmental assessments we've got now. So a marine survey engineer inspects the whole of the marine vessels, such as ships, yachts, and offshore structures as well. Geotechnical engineers, geophysical survey specialist. We've got environmental scientist, environmental impact assessment project manager, data analysis, Met Ocean specialist that Chris spoke on his last webinar. And again, we've got key skills is this data interpretation and situation awareness. Next up, so we've got five. So consenting and permitting. So we're still nowhere near yet. Still not building this wind farm yet. Nowhere near. So core focus, we're going to secure regulatory approval. We need consent and permitting manager. So planning consent for the seabed to use the seabed. Environmental lawyers, regulatory affairs specialist. We've got EI coordinators, policy advisors, and then technical authorities for consent and documentation as well. Again, key skills, governance, compliance, accountability chain, maintaining version control and document integrity. Very important. Now we're at pre-construction and detailed design. So focus is engineering design and supply chain setup. So engineering manager is a requirement, structural engineer, so for foundations, the tower sections. So the higher they are, the bigger the foundations or the more robust the tower sections need to be, depending on the height of the nacelle, the size of the blades. Electrical engineers for the substations. So you can have an onshore substation, a substation that's in the middle of the wind farm as well. Procurement and supply chain manager. Contracts manager, yeah, project control, so planning and scheduling. Risk management, as we spoke before, like the HSE. So as we said, safety is a mindset and a very, very important part of being in the wind sector. Key skills, logistics and project control. Now we're offshore construction. So now we're building the wind farm at stage 7 of 9. Okay, what do we need? Key roles within this. Offshore construction manager, installation engineers. So now we're installing and building the turbines. Prior to that, the foundations need to go in. Prior to that, the cables need to be laid. So we've got a marine operations manager. We've got vessel crews. We've got captains. We've got technicians on there. Remote operated vehicle pilots. Cable installation specialist. Again, HSE officers and quality assurance and quality control. Key skills, leadership, safety, austere operations, harsh and remote locations and environments. Next up, we've got stage 8, onshore construction and grid connection. So focus, connecting power to the grid this time. So our turbine's up now. We need that to export that power off to the substation and off to the national grid. So we need onshore construction manager, civil engineering, so substations and trenching, so trenchings where the cable's laid in, electrical engineering for the grid integration, cable engineers, export and landfall, grid compliance specialists, utility coordination manager, and commissioning engineers as well. So key skills, construction management, high voltage safety, planning, scheduling coordination, technical engineering, problem solving, and system integration. All sort of key skills and roles we've got within, like I said, the Army, the Navy, and the Royal Air Force. Now, last one now is operation and maintenance. Turbine's up and running now. It's turning, it's earning, and we need to keep it turning and earning. Yeah. So same as your car, we'll have a service plan, and this is what we're involved now. So every once or twice a year, the turbine will get shut down, but this is all within the operation and maintenance, and it's all been sort of booked, if we can put it that way. If it's not turning, it's not generating electricity, therefore it's not earning any money. So we need within that, we need an operations manager who's control of the wind farm, maintenance technician, as we mentioned right at the very start, maintenance service tech to do normal servicing or preventative maintenance as well. So what we don't want is for the turbines to go down, but if we know there's a potential fault, by doing that preventative maintenance, we can stop that turbine from shutting down. Blade repair technicians, as we saw earlier, we need quite a lot of them, nearly double the amount that we had last year. Asset managers and SCADA engineers. So SCADA is like the computer system on the wind turbine. It knows where the nacelle is pointed. It knows at what wind speed or speed that the rotors are rotating. It knows at what pitch angle the blades are at. It has heat sensors or PT100 sensors throughout the whole of the turbine. We can tell what the gearbox oil is. Everything goes through that SCADA system, and somebody monitors that. So if a fault comes up, we can highlight that straight away, and we can get out and do that maintenance and hopefully prevent it from shutting down. We need marine coordinating officers who coordinate the vessels that are around within the initial build of the wind farm, and then afterwards when our crew transfer vessels are deploying the technicians out to each turbine. Again, we're back to HSE managers and then logistics and spares coordinators. So like stores, really, stores on shore, stores offshore, stores on the vessels. Yeah, definitely. Key skills, fault diagnosis, reliability, following work instructions as well. So each sort of action within the wind turbine that we follow is on a work instruction. It's the safest way of performing a task, and it's the correct way to perform that task. It's about traceability and accountability as well. So operational readiness and performance management as well. Again, key skills that military personnel possess. So other roles that I haven't mentioned, to be honest, and I'll quickly flick through them. There's a lot more that we haven't even spoke about. So we've got fiber optic technicians, lift engineers. The turbines have got lifts inside. Lift supervisors, as in heavy lift, that kind of thing, using cranes. We've got non-destructive testing. We've got paint inspectors, cable jointers, structural engineers, draftsmen designing the projects, control room technicians, rope access techs, EOD. So part of the Marine Survey as well is looking for old ordnance, unexploded ordnance as well. Before we start, obviously, putting in these foundations. Heavy lift supervisors, welders, I mentioned that, ROV pilots, drone pilots. So we're carrying out inspections now of the turbines using drones and divers, and then the list goes on and on. So highly transferable skills that I think critical thinking and problem solving is complex environment. In complex environment is what we bring. Proven leadership, being in a small team on a large scale operation. We've got strong and often under-recognized communication abilities. We're very, very good at communicating, although we don't know it sometimes. Composure and effectiveness under pressure. So if it does go a little bit pear-shaped, we stop, we assess, and then we act. Alignment with the industry needs discipline and reliability. Safety first culture we spoke about. Technical competence and adaptability. And then we've got transferable skills across nearly all CAT badges within the Army, Navy and the Royal Air Force, and direct entry roles into multiple roles. So direct entry routes, apologies, into multiple roles. And again, key message is military personnel are not just suitable, they're strategically valuable to the wind energy sector. So pathways, GWO training. So GWO is the safety standard and courses to access a wind turbine. Please be aware you only need GWO courses if you're to access a wind turbine. If you're project management and you're sat in the office, yeah, you don't need it. However, if you need to go on site, then we need to access and complete our GWO training. So first things first, basic safety training, 5 days long or 4.5. It's working at manual handling, first aid. And then we've got fire awareness and sea survival if you're offshore. Available through LCAS, Enhanced Learning Credit Award Scheme, and Career Transition Partnership, CTP, funding. Now, Dogger Bank, quick highlight is to let you know that BST, Basic Safety Training, was the minimum standard. However, Dogger Bank is 80 to 100 miles offshore, and the rural wind turbine farms are up in the middle of nowhere, yeah? So by the time the emergency services get there, it's going to be some time. Now, what happens is if we've got a catastrophic bleed in the tower or the nacelle, we need enhanced first aid to stop that bleed, for example. We all know it. We're all military. We've done advanced, however, first aid, but it doesn't say Global Wind Organization, GWO, at the start of our certificate, and it needs to. So we'll stem the bleed. During your working at heights on your basic safety training, we teach you to rescue down to the ground. However, now we're 80 to 100 miles offshore, and the ambulance crew at the bottom are not trained to climb that wind turbine. They're waiting for you to either rescue up to a heli lift or rescue down to a crew transfer vessel, or the waiting paramedics. So that's where now enhanced first aid and advanced rescue techniques comes into effect. So this has now become the minimum standard, really. BST, advanced rescue, enhanced first aid, and even now clients are requesting that technicians have basic safety training, basic technical training, so you know the dangers within the wind turbine from top to bottom, rotation, electrocution, a hydraulic injection, for example. Again, ART is available through LCAS as a LCAS package. EFA is also available through LCAS. And basic technical training is available through CTP and LCAS funding. Moving on. So just to be aware, if you've got LCAS funding, depending on what tier you are and how long you've served, you'll either be eligible to £3,000 or £6,000, plus you would need to pay a 20% contribution fee of the cost of the course. CTP, so if we're infantry, for example, we don't have any transferable skills, electrical, mechanical skills. There's always other skills that you can gain through the Career Transition Partnership. So we've got a foundation training, we've got a level 2 diploma in electrical installation, 18th edition wiring, and then again, a level 3 inspection and testing, all available through the CTP website and at a fraction of a cost, if not next to nothing, to be fair, because it uses your IRTC grant and your standard learning credits as well. So definitely jump on the CTP website for more information regarding that, and on the LCAS website for the LCAS package that they put together. So funding is also available through the Royal Marine Charity, an amazing charity. Work with these a lot, okay? And it says a welfare support organisation for Royal Marines and their families, covering everything from financial help to mental health and career, supporting whilst meeting the charity criteria for support. Yeah, unbelievable charity these. They'll bend over backwards for you. And they've assisted a few of the booties or Royal Marines that have come through the training centre as well. So what should we do as well? So it says transition support. So you'll be resettlement and careers officer said sometimes they're limited to the knowledge. We've got industry-specific training providers like OEG. Go to the career fairs as well. Go to all of these career fairs and speak to subject matter experts. They've got Siemens are on there, Orsted, RWE, Edicon, on all of these people. There's a big wind conference coming up in June, I think the middle of June in Manchester. The British Forces Resettlement Centre hold career fairs throughout the year in various locations. The next one's the 14th of May in Aldershot. I think then it's Tidworth in September, Colchester in October, and then November it's Catterick. Again, you've got the CTP, they do career fairs as well. And then you've got Mission Motorsport and Mission Renewables. Mission Motorsport initially helped veterans and injured personnel, injured veterans to get into engineering. But now you can see they've gone into renewables as well. Again, an unbelievable network. So get on to Google, put Mission Renewables in there, and then see how they can help you as well. So CV writing is the last little bit, if I'm honest. We're not very good at selling ourselves, to be honest, and we take normal day-to-day menial tasks as menial, and we don't think about it. Like, as I said, organising parades, first works on vehicles, all things like that. You just take it as, it's just, I do it, and I do it every day. The thing is, it translates in Civvy Street as like a junior leader or even a management skill. So we need to be a lot better at sort of bigging ourselves up, should we say. Now, your CV, I won't lie, I do get plenty, and I've seen some shockers. I've absolutely seen some terrible ones. So What you're going to remember is your CV is your first point of contact with your future potential employer. Now, if it's in the wrong format, if it looks bad, it doesn't give a very good impression. So I've got a couple of key steps. So start with clear profile, open with a short professional summary, 4 to 6 lines. Focus on achievement, not duties. So responsible for managing a training centre, right? Manage the training centre, delivering X amount of courses per month, increasing utilisation. So facts and figures in there as well. Keep structure clean and predictable, name, contact details, key skills, professional experience. Tailor every CV. Now, this is really important. Tailor every CV to the role that you are applying for. Now, use strong and direct language. As I said, worked on, helped with, involved in. Use things like led, delivered, implemented, reduced, increased. Use them keywords. Keep it concise, 1 to 2 pages maximum, and then include relevant metrics, numbers, make your CV credible and impactful. Avoid common mistakes, spelling mistakes, grammar, irrelevant personal detail that nobody really cares about. And then optional, it says valuable, certification, training, compliance, sifting software that you've used as well, that kind of thing, leadership, project highlights. And the most important one, number 10, contact the professionals. So, like Forces CV and Career Fair, the thing is, I always say that Sian, she did my CV in 2010. I was a one officer class 2. I thought my CV was unbelievable. And actually, it was bobbins. It was a load of rubbish. Yeah. I got a job. It didn't happen due to restructuring of the business I was due to start work with. Put my CV out and got nothing back. I made the move then to invest in my CV and Forces CV. Redid it. They've been doing it for years, a long, long time. And to be fair, I then got engineering invites for interviews and stuff, and I ended up getting a job off that, to be fair. So contact the professionals, 100%, number 10. Last bit, last couple of slides now. We've got success stories. So this is Moses Guaku. He was the first ever LCAS delegate. You can see his Royal Artillery. He had no transferable skills whatsoever. However, now he's an offshore technician. He's been to Holland, Belgium, Taiwan, and he's now working towards his authorized technician or AT qualification, which is quite high up within the service technician. We've got Joe McLeod. I met this guy for the last 18 months at every single career fair. All he said was, I want to be a HV tech. I want to be a HV tech. He's self-funded, did his 33 and 66 KVA courses. He then landed a job as a cable jointer's mate. Not what he wanted to do, but it gave him more experience. And about a few weeks ago, he's landed a job now, a full role as a HV technician. So it might not happen straight away, but he was, you need to push for it. Keep pushing. You'll get plenty of knockbacks. Don't worry about that. It happens. But he did exactly that, and he kept going, and now he's got the exact role that he wanted to do. And lastly, we got Michael Dowd, a Royal Marine. He went for an interview as a blade repair technician within OEG. However, once he saw his CV and his key skills, as a manager, he's a sergeant, ranked sergeant. They thought he's probably better, to be honest, to be a manager of men. So therefore, they offered him a field service managers at the blade repair, OEG blade repair. So with that, I'm hoping I've showed you there's a lot more to a blade repair technician and a service technician, the different routes that we can go down. Yeah, it's not all about them two roles. If you want to be and do your part for the environment and be part of the wind sector, there's definitely a role out there that you've got key transferable skills to get to then possess to get you into that job. So on that note, have we got any Q&A? Any questions? So we got just completed Matthew Dawson, just completed 22 years service in an electronics, telecommunication, 18th edition, and then many roles in the renewable industry be suitable for certain. Yeah, absolutely. So, Matthew, th- there's so many different roles that you can do with these key skills, if I'm honest. Telecommunications, radios, radar, electronics, satellite, you've got IT skills, you've got 18th edition. You know, what I would do if I was you, to be honest, would pick pick a specific role that you want to go down using these and utilizing them. And then what I would also do, and that goes for anybody, to be honest, go and do your research. Get on LinkedIn, look at Ørsted, Siemens, Vestas. All of these have all got career web or career tabs within their web page. Upload your CV in there and then see if we get any bites from it. See if you get interviews, see if you get anything back. Before then, spending money on, say, different courses that are not funded. Do you know what I mean? So put your CV in. Obviously, make sure it's on point, like I said before. Get your CV in there and see if we get anything back. Next question, anonymous. Can I take part in CTP funded courses at OEG Training? Absolutely. So we're the only training provider that delivers the GWO basic safety training and the GWO basic technical training. Be booked through the CTP website. So jump on the website and then follow the links, and then hopefully we'll see you at the centre at some time. We got any more? So a quick look. Student soldiers with engineering or aircraft maintenance background have better link to offshore jobs. What about soldiers? Well, with infantry or tank backgrounds, how should we connect with them? Offshore jobs. Yeah. So as I said before, for that one, definitely Moses had no transferable skills whatsoever. What I didn't put on there though, he went and did his CTP 18th edition. So that gave him this technical electrical qualification straight away. So, you know, you can do things like that. You can definitely get in there. I know plenty of guys that have had no transferable skills. They've gone in to be sort of pre-installation technician. So where the turbine is in bits on shore at a layup point, we put it all together, pre-install it before it then goes onto a vessel or up to the actual point where the onshore, where the foundations are to get built. So yeah, and I think that's about it. Any more questions, send them through and I will definitely answer them via email. So as I said, hopefully this has given you an insight into a lot more than just a blade repair tech and a service technician. Thank you very much.